Hi Marcos, can you tell us if you immigrated to the U.S. and if you did, when did you?
Yes, I migrated over here when I was 11 years old in 2001, exactly right before the events of 9/11.
Okay, so what is your stance on immigration and more specifically on undocumented immigration and the immigration reform debate going on right now?
Okay, in terms of immigration, the way I feel about it, being an immigrant, I feel, well, I have to cut this because I just lost my train of thought, but I'm thinking that students should be given the chance to pursue like a further education, simply because it wasn't up to them to come over here. They were brought by the parents, so that's why I think they should be given a chance. As far as the parents themselves, the ones that brought the students, I think that they also deserve a chance depending on their situation. When I say depending on the situation, I mean how they have not performed, but have they been living in their last few years in the United States. For example, if they've been in crimes or any of that sort, I don't necessarily think they should be given a chance, even though like it should be like looked into. Like, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like if you've done a crime, like I don't think you deserve it. But then certain crimes are like, I wouldn't say like any crime is justifiable, but like some crimes might be like thought about like, oh, maybe he did this because or he was in the wrong place at the wrong,
Right.
like kind of thing.
Okay. So, in general, do you agree or disagree with immigration reform?
Um, I agree with the immigration reform, especially the one that's been put out lately,
Okay.
which is like I said, if you have a good status in the United States, then you should be given the chance.
Okay. Um, okay, so as you may know, over the years, there's been a change in the political climate, and it has led to a lot of changes in immigration law, and the public attitude about immigration has changed. For example, immigrants were able to process their citizenship much faster with the amnesty of 1986, the Braceros program. But after circumstances such as 9/11, immigration law and public opinion changed dramatically in a much more negative way. Have you noticed this shift and attitude, and if so, what has been your personal experience with immigration?
Well, my grandfather actually worked as a truck driver
Mm-hmm.
back back in the day, and he was really close to getting into the Braceros program. Actually, he should have been part of that movement, but for some reason he didn't make it. I'm not quite sure why, into the program. And the way he tells me about his experience is that when he was in the U.S., he seemed like it was a lot easier to move around and not judge, simply because I guess mainly because of his job, but. I mean, I think that has changed ever since then. Now that people basically people that live in the frontera line, I feel like they are more likely to be judged for like their background than they were back in the day.
So, I mean, following up on that, what about your personal experience? You said you got here in what year?
2001.
Okay, so what was your experience from then?
Well, personally, I don't feel like I've ever well. Yeah, I wouldn't say I've been ever discriminated, at least not that I feel that I have. But I do think that in terms of education, it was difficult because while I was in classes that I was doing really well in classes, and I was supposed to be in I guess superior classes that back in elementary school it was called AIG.
Right.
It was like advancing something. But it was like advanced classes basically, and I wasn't given a chance to be in them simply because I did not speak English. Even though I was excelling in my classes, that was kind of like a holdback.
Okay. So now, can you tell me how the current immigration process to obtain citizenship works?
Well, from what I know, and this is because my aunt's actually going through it. the citizenship, you have to basically be able to speak English, be able to take an exam that proves that you know knowledge of the history, and you have to abide by the rules and pledge to be only a citizen of the United States. To sign up.
How would you say that status, for example, if you're documented or undocumented, how would you say that that affects people's everyday lives?
Status. Mainly, I would say, in terms of like economy and getting a job, I think that's how it affects people the most. Simply because they have to depend on how they're gonna make a living from day to day. They're not sure if the next day they're gonna be, you know, deported, or they always live with that fear. And living with that fear, I think, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to live with.
Okay. All right, Marcos. Well, thank you for your time.